When people try to improve thoracic spine mobility, they oftentimes make the mistake of focusing on thoracic extension, or the ability to get the spine more upright. And while there's nothing inherently wrong with improving thoracic extension, people can get way better results doing other things to improve mobility in this area. See, a huge component of thoracic mobility involves the ability for the thoracic spine to rotate, but this rotation does not occur just at the spine itself. In order for proper rotation, we need a couple of things. One thing that we need is the rib cage to change shape. Now, a lot of the spine's rotation happens here, so it's key we can get that proper shape change. Let's say I'm turning to the left or rotating to the left. In order for that to happen, I need my rib cage on the left to have space to move back like this. And on the right side, I need to have space for my rib cage to move forward like this. So what that kind of entails is the rib cage on the front right side needs to open up and move forward, and on the back, it needs to open up and shift back. So we need to have the ability to create elongation and space between the shoulder blades and the spine to push our rib cage back properly. On top of that, we need the thoracic spine to have a relatively neutral position. Now, what I mean by that is that the human spine curve should have some degree of arch here and a little bit of a round here and then another arch here at the neck. Now, if our thoracic spine is too extended, it actually limits this rotation because we can't push the rib cage back on the side we're rotating towards. So if we're only working on thoracic extension and not the ability to rotate, we're actually taking away a significant portion of thoracic spine mobility. To test your rotation capabilities, sit with your knees and hips bent at a 90-degree angle and feel your sit bones evenly on both sides. Place a foam roller in between your thighs, which will lock you in place here, so that way you have to rotate through your thoracic spine. So sit tall and then cross your arms across your shoulders like this. And then just very gently push your shoulder blades away from your spine, very, very gently. And you should be able to do that without depressing your chest. And then you just want to keep your eyes straight ahead and rotate, stopping at the point where you feel a cramp in your back or you feel any sort of dipping or any sort of asymmetrical shoulder movement. So once you get to that range, you'll know it because you'll feel it. If you have to push more than about a 3 out of 10, then you're probably pushing beyond your limits. And then you can compare it to the other side and see how that feels. Now, you also want to make sure that your knees stay locked in place, and you want to make sure that you're not leaning over to one side either. It should be a straight rotational movement like that. So let's say you're limited in your ability to actually turn to the left. Now, what we need to do in order to accomplish this, remember, is the ribs need to be able to be pushed back on that side. So we need to have space for the shoulder blade and spine to separate a little bit, for these ribs to open up to create that nice healthy space and rotation back. This is relative to the position of the thoracic spine rotating that direction and the ribs being pushed back. Now on the right side, we need to again have these ribs be able to open up and move forward. So if we're stuck in a position where either or, these ribs are collapsed down and the tissues and stuff on here is tight and is restricting the ability for this to open up, or on the back side, we have an issue where there's too much tension and compression here, which is restricting our ability to turn to that space, we're going to be limited in our ability to turn to the left side. People that have significantly restricted thoracic spine mobility oftentimes have very rigid walking patterns where they can't really dissociate their upper and lower body as they should every single step that we take. Also, they tend to have really tight upper backs and they feel like there's just a lot of knots in their upper backs, and or what you can also see is a painful lower back because there's a limitation in an area we should be rotating side to side from. Our lower back's trying to make up for that and there's excessive rotation happening here. So here's some easy exercises you can do to improve the ability to rotate through your thoracic spine. This first one is very simple and it feels great. So get in this position where you have your hips and knees bent at around a 90-degree angle, head supported on a pillow so that way your head is nice and neutral. Now grab the foam roller and place it at shoulder height in between your palms. What you want to do from this point is you want to gently reach that foam roller away from you, getting a little bit of what we call protraction, or the shoulder blades moving away from the spine. It's very gentle and it shouldn't come at the cost of you straining too hard or depressing your sternum. It's just a nice 3 out of 10 reach. And then what you're gonna do is inhale through your nose and you're gonna reach your top arm and shoulder ahead of your bottom one, just a couple of inches. Get a nice full inhale through your nose, not engaging your neck. Then get a nice exhale through your mouth. Sequentially as you bring your top hand a couple of inches behind your bottom palm. And then just go through reps of this, maintaining a little bit of that reach at all times. So I'm going to inhale through my nose softly but fully going forward. Exhale back. The key here is making sure you're only moving through your thoracic spine and your shoulders. You don't want to be going forward and then your head comes with you and your knees come with you. It should be an isolated movement. So that's why it's subtle. But again, it will really feel nice and start to open up your back with the breath as you move through it. If this is making sense to you and you want a more comprehensive program that not only improves your thoracic mobility, but ties it together with the function of your shoulder and the rest of your body, check out my shoulder health program. It's designed for anyone to be able to do, requires minimal time per day, and also not much equipment. So check it out down below in the description. Here's another really easy one. All you gotta do is set up the exact same way as you did for that test. Sit bones in contact with the bench of the chair, knees and hips at 90 degrees, feet flat on the floor. Now you're gonna keep your eyes straight ahead, sit tall, keep your sternum up, but exhale all the way out, get all the air out, and you're gonna feel your rib cage come down, but not at the cost of you depressing your sternum. Now what I want you to do is keeping that rib cage down, but feeling your sit bones, sternum up. You're going to gently reach one arm ahead of you like this, and then another one behind you like so. So start by taking an inhale, and then as you exhale, reach this arm just 1 inch ahead, but keep your eyes straight ahead. Get all that air out until you feel these side abs engage more and more. At the end, inhale and reach this arm just 1 inch behind you. Exhale again. Reaching straight ahead more and more. Inhale. Very gently. It should be a very gentle inhale. You should not feel your neck engage. You shouldn't feel any tension in your traps rising up. It should be a nice, gentle process, just 1 to 2 inches at a time. And eventually you're gonna hit an end range through breath cycles where if you go any farther, you're gonna have to arch or turn, or your knees are gonna move, or something's gonna move that's not your thoracic spine or your arms. So at that point, stop, reset, you can go again or switch to the other side. For maximal efficiency, I'd recommend doing these every single day for a couple of weeks. And I would do them for about 5 to 10 breath cycles per set per exercise. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.